Welcome the first time, or perhaps welcome back to Sky's Not the Limit. So, on this particular episode, or this particular video I should say, we'll be talking about something which does connect to the thumbnail, I think, reasonably well, which is the Montauk Experiments, or the Montauk Project. Now, there's certainly a lot of pretty deep mythology having to do with what actually occurred with the supposed Montauk Experiments or project, depending on how you describe it. But I'm not going to go too into depth with that because there certainly have been, and there certainly should be, and it's reasonably easy to find, a number of other videos that talk about exactly what supposedly was claimed to have happened, including the testimony of people who claim that they are directly involved. What I will say is that it goes anywhere from some basic human-related experimentation to time travel and a lot in between. However, what I'm going to try to do in this video is present a little bit of, I guess, potential evidence or something that seems to suggest something solid about what actually was going on there. It's not necessarily anything too spectacular, but it does at least suggest that, if not it being the thing that actually was occurring in terms of what they're experimenting with, that there's actually at least something going on there. Because they certainly had to test for something, as you'll see in an upcoming section. And certainly it does seem, as you can see in the video here that's playing, credit to Dark Explorations, that there was at least a fair amount of equipment involved with the actual location where it took place. So here's basically a take I'm trying to have, which actually uses real documentation. So here we go. And here you go, an actual document that shows that there is clearly some kind of intense sound experimentation going on at the location around the time of the supposed Montauk Experiments, which were at least partially an inspiration, or at least were somewhat similar to the series Stranger Things. Now, not to say that this means that any of the more bizarre things were occurring, but this does seem to shed light on that they were definitely messing around with some intense sound energy, possibly for somewhat nefarious purposes. Now, of course, then your question is, well, what in the world does this have to do with what supposedly happened in Montauk? Well, high and low frequency sound at high levels of amplitude can have some pretty strange effects, including, as shown here, even supposed ghost sightings, or sightings of perhaps strange creatures that may be in somewhat in similar appearance to ghosts. So what I'm basically suggesting here is that maybe the sound experiments could have caused some illusions which factored into the actual events of what occurred in the Montauk Experiments. That's not to say, of course, that nothing would have actually occurred, but I'm sure that could have had a strong impact. I'm sure that they could have done some kind of human experimentation with this kind of technology. The effects that microwaves can have on the human body and brain could have been used for causing illusions. Perhaps real stuff was actually going on, and people were hallucinating and feeling strange due to the sound experiments having to do with sound weaponry, which caused them to effectively seem like they were seeing monsters or strange events. Well, anyway, that's what I think about this situation in this case. So if you have anything else interesting to share, then I'd be totally open to that. But I thought that this was a very interesting article and paper to bring to attention on this subject. If you prefer I do a more specific subject, or perhaps one I've done previously, I suppose you can let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps.